Okay, let's do a little bit of EFT on one of your goals. So I want you to choose a goal that you would like to work on. I don't recommend trying to lump in multiple goals. You can rewatch this video as many times as you want, and you can do this over and over and over again on individual goals. But for the sake of impact, let's focus on just one. Now, I'm going to assume that you have some degree of clarity on what your goal is. If you just have a very, very general goal, that's okay. In fact, I will say that if you try to get too specific and you start to feel very misaligned, we want to bring that back and be a little bit more general. So here's an example. If you have a financial goal, perhaps you would like to have over $1 million of revenue this year. Now, if that number creates a whole bunch of resistance for you, that is not going to be very beneficial because you have all sorts of subconscious resistance. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't get there. It just means that we want to start more general and we want to create more alignment with a more general goal. Okay. So for instance, if having that specific goal feels very, very out of alignment, you feel a tremendous amount of resistance, your mind starts to give you a lot of pushback saying that's unrealistic, it's not possible, I don't know how. And there's just a complete disconnect where if you're really honest with yourself, it just doesn't feel good when you think about it. Take a couple steps back and reach for a goal that feels better. So it might be something like, I allow myself to double my revenue this year. So when we say double, we're saying, okay, last year I had X number of dollars that I brought into my business. This year, I feel aligned with doubling that. Now, I want to just say that this does not mean that you're putting a cap on your income. Okay. So what we want to always give ourselves permission to do is increase. So you may even choose your words more strategically and say something to the effect of, I allow myself to have more than double my income. Okay. Now, the reason that I say this is because we don't want to self-sabotage. We want to create within our subconscious mind a supportive environment so that we can align with that goal and increase it. Okay, so think of this as walking up a staircase. Okay, you're at the bottom of the staircase. Your goal is to get to the top of the staircase. When you're standing at the bottom of the staircase and you're looking all the way up at the top, it may feel overwhelming, okay? Especially if in your mind, you're thinking to yourself, I don't know how I'm going to get there. That's just so far removed from where I've been mentally, emotionally, and vibrationally. So we want to be logical about this. What is the next logical step? That's doable. That's realistic to the subconscious mind, even if it's higher than you've ever been before. Okay. But we have to be reasonable within the sort of current belief construct that we have and stretch ourselves in a way that feels realistic. It feels doable. Okay. Now, if you've been doing a lot of inner work already, even if you have a higher goal for yourself, what some people may refer to as a big goal or a stretch goal, it may feel more realistic to you than someone who hasn't been doing inner work up to this point on that type of goal. So we're really just checking in with how it feels to us. So whatever that goal is, I want you to just notice, that the ideal situation is that we feel good about it. It may still feel like there is a little bit of doubt, a little bit of uncertainty, maybe some fears that pop in here and there. We can clean all that stuff up, okay? And that's the goal for this tapping session. What we don't want to do is set a goal where there's clearly no emotional alignment. So if I set a goal for myself, I say, I want to generate $10 million in revenue this year. And my mind says, no, it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel right. Be honest with yourself about that and just bring yourself back to a more generalized goal that feels better to you. And we start there. And we have the ability to just keep up leveling. So when we take that first step and we feel pretty good about that goal, you might notice as you're working towards that goal, you feel yourself aspiring to a higher level, even if you haven't achieved this first step yet. You've already raised your belief level and you can set that larger goal. Okay. So now, with that goal in mind, okay, this isn't going to be a full-blown goal setting exercise about how to write your goals, but I will say we want to make statements that feel really empowering to us. So, for instance, if your goal is $1 million in revenue this year, you'll say something like, I love having over $1 million in revenue. Now you'll notice what we did there. We stated it in the present tense. We didn't put it out into some future date. Very important. Now, some people strongly advocate having a date for your goal. We did sort of weave that in there, right? We said this year, but notice that we stated it in a present tense way. We didn't say, I'll be a millionaire someday, or I will have $1 million in revenue in the future. We didn't do that, okay? So the way that we language it, the way that it feels to us are all important components to setting a goal that has the right resonance, the right vibrational frequency, and has the right effect on our mind. Okay, so let's do a round of EFT. And now what I want you to be aware of is what's coming up for you. Any fears, any doubt, any resistance, any yeah, but excuses or reasons or justifications for why it can't, why it won't, why it's going to be hard, any backlash. Okay, so for instance, you have this goal. What are some disadvantages of having the goal? Be aware of what might be in your subconscious mind that could be an obstacle to having that goal. Do you think that it's going to require too much work, too much time, too much effort, too much money? It's going to take a toll on your relationships. It's going to have some other type of adverse negative effect. Is it going to create a disconnect in other relationships in your life? Are you no longer going to feel like you align with other members of your family? So we want to start to notice those reasons in our old subconscious programming that don't align with the goal that we want to create. And our objective here is to tap through those things and take the negative emotional charge off of those beliefs. So I'm going to be going through this in a more general sense. I really encourage you to be mindful of what are your thoughts, what are your feelings, what are your potential objections to achieving this goal. So let's get started. Even though I have this goal and I have some resistance to it, or I would have achieved it already, I accept who I am and how I feel. Even though I know it's possible to achieve this goal, but I do have some resistant thoughts and beliefs, I give myself permission to release and let them go. Even though I really do want to up-level my life and achieve this goal, but a part of me has doubts and fears. I love, honor, accept, and forgive myself and give myself permission to release and let it go. Top of the head. I have this goal. Eyebrow. I would love to achieve it. Side of the eye. But a part of me does not believe. Under the eye. Maybe it's too big. Under the nose. Maybe it's unrealistic. Chin. What if I fail? Collarbone. I've failed at other goals in the past. Under the arm. I don't want to fail on this one. Inside of the wrist. I would love to create a new future. Top of the head. A future where I can achieve anything I set my mind to. But what if I can't do it? What if it doesn't work out? What if I sabotage myself? I don't want to stay the same. I want to believe in myself. But I don't fully believe in myself. I don't know if I can do it. Maybe it's too big. What if I don't have what it takes? I give myself permission to release and let that go. I give myself permission to believe in myself. It is safe, right, and good to believe in myself. What if I can achieve it? What if it's easy? What if it goes easier than I previously thought possible? What if I'm not worthy? I don't want to set a goal that isn't right for me. What if it's not right for me? What if I'm not meant to be that successful? What if I am? I give myself permission to release the fear, to release the resistance, to experience better things. But it doesn't align with my self-image. I don't see myself yet as someone with that goal. I'm willing to release and let that go. I'm willing to let go of my resistance. It's safe for me to release the resistance. What would it look like to have that goal? What would it feel like to have that goal? It's okay for me to be successful. I am a good person. I am worthy. I am deserving. I am capable. I can feel confident. I'm willing to let go of the fear. I give myself permission to release and let it go. I can allow myself to have good things. I can do it. I can. It is possible. I don't know how, but I know I can do it. I give myself permission to let go of figuring out how. I know the path will show itself to me. It's just one step at a time. I feel excited. I feel inspired. I feel passionate. I know it's possible. I can do it. I can do it. Okay. Now go ahead, take a nice deep cleansing breath. Just notice what's coming up for you. Are there still yeah buts? Is there still doubt? Is there still resistance? If there is, there's more work to do. Keep tapping through those things. You're tapping through the thoughts and the feelings that are coming up for you. Now, when you feel a sense of completion, when you feel a sense of inner peace, when you feel a sense of, I can do this, then you're done for now. Doesn't mean that you won't want to revisit this exercise if things come up. As you're working towards your goals, you may encounter other specific fears, doubts, or insecurities that either you didn't work on before or you didn't work through completely. Give yourself the opportunity to work through those things as they come up. And it's okay to restate your goal, okay? Write it down. Write it down until when you read it, it feels great. And when you read it and it feels great, then leave it as is. If a week from now you're reading it and a word or something feels just a little bit off to you, tweak it, refine it, okay? Your vibration is changing. Your mindset is changing. Your beliefs are changing. And sometimes the way that you language things will need to change to match your new level of belief, your new level of expectation, to be more vibrationally aligned with who you have become and who you are becoming. So be willing to change the wording, refine, revise, do your tapping on any resistance, any self-doubt that's coming up, and just keep working towards that goal little by little, and be willing to stretch, be willing to set those new higher level goals. Just keep reaching and growing, because that is what we are. We are creators, and we just keep creating new things in our life. We just keep reaching for that further expansion. So enjoy this process. We don't just simply want to check things off and then what, right? Part of the joy of life is the creation process. So give yourself permission to just keep creating, keep up leveling, keep growing, keep expanding, and achieving those goals.